Welcome to another episode. Today we're going to finish up our last bike and the Leagues of Votann kit. We're going to keep just moving forward. So it's going to be a short intro and we're just going to get into it. It is said of the Cronus hegemony that there is no problem they will not solve with an axe. Existing as a military superstate, their kindred muster some of their largest and most aggressive kinhost known amongst the Leagues of Votann, nor are they sparing in their armies' use. For the Cronus hegemony marches ever onward. The Cronus hegemony is a relatively young league, founded less than a millennium ago, when the fate of Cronyar's kindred achieved self-awareness. This newly asserted Votann exhibited an aggressive drive for knowledge and a demanding appetite for raw materials, the better of Cronyar's kindred, to enhance its physical shell and armor themselves. It is defense. Prior to its Cronyar's kindred had been a relatively minor member of the flattering Capelin League. Blessed as they now were with their own Votann, they broke away to start the Cronus hegemony and took several other former Capelin kindred with them. More kin were soon drawn to the straightforward aggression of the Cronus hegemony, swelling their ranks further. The trademark aggression, which often veers into outright belligerence, has only become more pronounced as the centuries have passed and the hegemony's might has grown. A kindred wishing to join the hegemony must offer suitable tribute in order to earn its place, and its kin must swear material oaths for several service and loyalty that are considered entirely externally binding. It is expected that their holds and void fleet will focus upon war, and they will train an equal mass kindred force. The expectation of tribute does not end with joining the hegemony. Each kindred must provide their commitment by conquering an allotment allotted quota of enemy worlds in each year cycle, sending portions of the spoils back to Kronyar, kindred of their Votanns, kindred for their Votann's defense. The kindreds of the Kronos hegemony have emerged in bordered skirmishes and standoffs with other leagues, and they have a reputation, not least thanks to needing to hit their conquest quotas, for finding an excuse to escalate into full-blown war against alien races. It has been suggested that the many Grunder declared by the Kronos hegemony kindred owe as much to a need of justifying cost conflicts as they do a genuine desire of vengeance. That said, the kindred of the Kronos hegemony are notoriously stiff-necked and quick to anger. It takes little offense to see their swarms of gunships and armored transports go thundering into battle. For all this, many kin have cause to be glad of the Kronos hegemony's aid when bested by Xenos invaders. Entire orc wogs and acquisitive imperial crusades have been shattered by their massed kinhost. Moreover, since the manifestation of the recent warp storm, the Kronos hegemony have wasted little time in annexing territories belonging to various alien races. They cite the simple belief that the kin require them to survive and are therefore entitled to take them perfectly by force. The Ymir conglomerate. All kin value good craftsmanship, but none more so than those of the Ymir conglomerate. Experts in every form of manufacturing. Their Rokhire see to it that the conglomerate's holds and fleets are repleted with marvels of technology, and that their weapons of war are second to none. a kindred's entirety into the elite Yamyar conglomerate is dependent upon fulfilling one of two criteria. Some kindred are permitted to join after providing the exceptional skills of their Brokhirn in fashioning battle gear, void ships, field technologies, or whatever other systems their forge specializes in. The more prolific and persuadant the kindred Broknyars, the higher status they win for their kindreds within the conglomerate. The other possessed criterion of entry is if a kindred territories yield a suitable spectralist bound of raw materials. For use in the Ymir forges, there is no stigma attached to the kindred's effectively buying its way in like this. The kin are pragmatic enough to recognize that even the most skilled Broknyar can achieve little without fuel for their forge and materials to work within. In exchange for sizable exports of raw materials, these resource-rich kindreds are rewarded with weapons, war gear, and vessels forged by their skilled allies. Through smaller than some of the leagues of Votann, the Ymir conglomerate boasts the greatest connections of superb technologies anywhere in the galactic core. Every one of the kindreds benefit from remarkable force field generators to protect their void mining concerns and holds. Experimentally crafted teleportation hubs and delivered their passengers safely to their destinations, almost without fail, and high-end scanning and communications suits. Their hold continues civilian factories that, by Spartan kin standards, board upon decadence, while their oath and prospects boast phenomenal military hardware of every sort. The forge of Famine holds, such as Lonkar's hall of hammers, cylinder spans, and the Ymir's Misyar cylinder. Produce singular mechanisms of subtle might. Moreover, the Yamyar are notorious for possessing enough advanced beam weaponry suited for exo-armor and colossal class war. Engines to equip their armies at a level most kindred can only afford for their most elite warriors. Even before the coming of Great Rift, the Ymir kindred were frequent visitors of far space. They either traded with alien empires for materials not available in the galactic core, or else took by force those rich systems they considered theirs by merit of need. Recent developments have only seen them reduce these efforts. For some of their wealthiness, kindreds have been cut off by warp storms of invading aliens, and the rest of the leagues will not see their famined forge grow cold for lack of fuel. The Uranian searcher regionals The kin of the Uranian searcher regulars have a reputation for survival against the odds. Courage and hardiness are their watchwords, and while they might seem more dour than more of their race, there are none more dependent to have at one's back in the face of peril. Known through the leagues of Votann, the URSR, this league and this kindreds have long held into a swath of heavily contested and foe-haunted territories in the southern reactors of the galactic core. On the border that they face the awakened and warlike Necron dynasty of Semnok, whose single-minded Pharaon appears intent upon claiming the Iranian Surtur hold worlds. For the shattered stars to their east came the raiding fleets of begged a free Buddha king, or maybe it's Bogda free Buddha king, an orc privateer who commands a seemingly endless empire of ragtag greenskin pirates. Then there is the Nostar cluster, logged like a splinter amidst the URSR's northern kindreds. These worlds are haunted by an infestation of tyranids that exhibit strange, almost nesting behavior patterns unusual for their species, and are even hunger to claim new worlds to infest. Other kindreds might have given ground in the face of such relentless threats, but the URSR refuse to do so, nor do they show any inclusion to explain their apparent subordinates to the other league. Beyond asserting that the ancestors would amend them forever if they gave up their whole worlds or allowed them to fall, some among the Grimnyar believe that the Iranian Surtur guard some secret site of great importance, or are provide to knowledge whose burdens they share alone. Others suspect they are bound by rash grudges swore by their forebears against their encroaching foes, and that they must see through those to whatever bloody end. The most cynical claim that the kindred of the URSR are simply too stubborn to admit the poor return they got for their hardships, and too proud to relinquish their lands. The kin of the URSR gave no outward sign that they care what the rest of their race thinks of them. They admit new kindred into their ranks only infrequently, and they only after rigorous tests and secretive means about which the new application are oath sworn never to speak. No kindred has ever left the URSR once admitted, though whether it is out of loyalty or from some other more sinister reason remains unknown. It is accepted for every URSR kindred that they maintain as large a population as they can. Attempting an ascetic lifestyle with the bare minimum of food, light, air, and heat in exchange for keeping their fighting ranks replenished. The selfless commitment to their cause is right large upon the battlefield when the Iranian Surtur marched to war, or Irania Surtur, loyal to one another and to their leagues, and they refused to countenance defeat or despair with breaks remains within their bodies. Myriad League, as the kin posed no centralized administrative body, no one knows precisely how many leagues of Votann there are. These troubles of the kin are not all. For them it is even to know that they are many and strong, and that every league, no matter the difference, strives for the furtherness of their race. The traditions and customs of each league typically grow from those of the founded kindred. They are also informed by the lore offered up by the leagues Votann, and a rare occasion by the unusual delectus or rumored personalities affected by those same ancestor cores. In typical kin fashion, what begins as a ratified character or an official verbal agreement between aliens soon solidified into traditions that all of the league's kindreds are expected to uphold. While some of the leagues of Votann might appear homogeneous to outside observers, bearing only their heraldic colors and league insignia, the truth most are quite different from one another. Many factors impact the nature of each league. Should its territories broader and especially horizonous regions rife with alien threats, the league is likely to adopt a more militaristic outlook. A league whose kindreds are renewed for their Chthoni Guild or interstellar trade might possess more consumption and exploration culture. Conventionally, the pillars of far space may have rendered particular kindred cynical and insular. Some leagues pride themselves particularly upon their void-faring capacity, the further coming known and comparative claim of their Votann, or on their reputation as adventurers and tellers of grand tales. More even kindreds within the leagues has its own way of keeping its customs, and many chosen to focus on one particular aspect of its overreaching traditions. Amongst the Trans-Hyperion Alliance, for example, the kindred of Luminous Cage are famed as shipwrights to the swiftest void craft and the atmospheric gunships, while Ukurlau kindred choose instead to honor the League's traditions by having even every last one of their kindred serve at least a decade as Hernkin during their early years. By comparison, the brutality directed kin 6 of the Kronos hegemony pride themselves on their mastery of urban warfare, while their sometimes rivals Cilicians kindred favor mass artillery and siege warfare. Some of the leagues of Votann possess traditions that epitomize one aspect of another, or another of their race's core values. The Typhon Styrex Protectorate of insane instances see way always to render themselves indomitable, so that they may be unassuadable by enemies and invaders. Their oath bands lend towards steady and relentless struggles, advantaging from one defensible position to the next, and allowing wave of enemy counterattacks to smash themselves apart against swiftly raised ramparts and tanks dug in as temporary bunkers. The holds of the Typhon Cyrex are, without exception, massively fortified. They are forever being forever being improved by League's diligent Broknyar. The Ghoul industrial complex, by comparison, is a league whose kindred pour almost all their time and energy into maintaining trade routes and keeping their convoys from heavy hurdles and escort ships moving along them. This league contains several extreme, large, and powerful Chthoni guilds, whose influence in the Hearth Speaks is such that they are vertically the de facto ruler of the Gully Ghetto a ghetto industrial complex as a whole. Other leagues have more unusual characteristics and are notable for their allies and connections. The leagues of the Tethys expanse, for instance, is extremely widespread. Its kindreds mainly contact by many of a singular potent interstellar communication network whose technologies they will only release to other leagues for a suitable fee. The Stigma Dorkan Union is a martially insular league that prizes honorable combat greatly. Its kinhost are held to a strict code of conduct at all times, and take an unusual degree of pride in their heraldry and decovered Instagram. The Pentateuch Commonwealth boasts an extensionally elegantary society, while the Jotner Anchor Combat have a strong meritocratic and Bronyar centric one. Meanwhile, the CernTech Mercantile League is primarily known for being the league to have traded most heavily with the Tau Empire. Ironkin. The Iron King were created by and to this day are still manufactured by the Votann. Ironkin are true mechanical intelligence. They possess tremendous cognitive power and are able to mimic kin society behaviors so well that they have integrated fully with their flesh and blood cousins. Each Ironkin consists of a cerebral unit, or CU, and a unique mechanal body. An Ironkin CU has microfield generators woven into its structure, rendering it night-on invisible, while its body is designed to fulfill one of a variety of roles, be the generalist strategic advisor, combat shock troop, mining support unit, cargo lugger, combat pilot, or whatever else. Ironkin body is personal to it as the flesh and blood frame of a living being. It's required repair when damaged, rather than simply being replaced like something or some machine components. In extremists, however, Ironkin can survive as a CU alone. Serve they be reducted to the conditions, they are able to enter a state of torpor and project all frequencies distress beacons. The purpose of the Iron Kin is to aid the kin in every aspect of their lives. However, they are not enslaved to this role, nor treated as such by the kin. It is simply in their nature to find whatever niche they best fill, and then to prefer that roles to the best of their abilities. This said, the Ironkin are artificial beings. As such, they can only immediate the enormous and drives of their biological fellows. It is thus rare that Ironkin possess any decrees of ambition or seeking to be leaders amongst their people, while they may express pride, camaraderie, courage, empathy, or anger. In truth, these are but acts to optimize their societal integration. Well, welcome to the end of the video. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe and tell your friends, and feel free to leave a comment, especially if you think you can have suggestions on what I can do to improve the channel. And we'll see you in the next one.